Whoa! Check out that explosive new intro. Isn't Saintsville a crazy place? Hyperkinetic cinema. Oh. Hey there, I'm Brendan Petersen, the founder of DARKSLIDE Pictures and the director of Paper Wasps. Welcome to number 19 in the Appalling Productions Mondays series. We've almost hit 400 subscribers on this channel, so if you like this video and our other videos, please subscribe below and get us closer to 400. Make sure to hit the little bell notification as well, and you'll get notified about upcoming videos that are released. Anyways, let's move on to the video. This is art versus propaganda. So let's jump right in. How do we define art? And how do we define propaganda? And how do these two things relate and differ from one another? The textbook definition of art is as follows: the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpting, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. This is, of course, a very broad definition, and what exactly is art is very subjective, as something may be art to one person, but not to another. In this video, we will be examining art versus propaganda for reason of discussion. Moving on to propaganda, the definition is as follows: information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So how do these two things relate to filmmaking, which is what this series is more focused on? We're going to explore art versus propaganda through a filmmaking lens. Ingmar Bergman said there are two types of films: dreams and documents. Dreams would be probably more on the fictional side, where events and characters are made up by an author. The document side would be more like a documentary, which usually tries to convey information in a more objective way. This isn't always the case, though. Some blur the lines between dream and document by mixing the two. And we start to ask the question, is there really a clear difference between the two in the first place? So let's relate this to art versus propaganda. The lines blur even more, but it seems that good art usually is more objective, letting the viewer decide things for themselves about what the information presented to them means. We usually call this good writing or good art because it allows us as the viewer or reader or whatever to bring something of ourselves into the piece as we experience it. Now let's look at propaganda. Again, it's something that can be hard to define because the lines are always being blurred, but it seems that when a piece of media is pushing a piece of information with an agenda behind it, especially one of a political nature, this is the type of media that veers more towards propaganda. Cinema verite is a style of documentary filmmaking where one tries to capture the subject at times when they are completely unaware of the camera's presence. It's thought that in this moment they're being more truthful to themselves, and this often is done by filming for a long period of time, like a fly on a wall, without giving direction, until the subject forgets that they're being filmed. Grey Gardens is a great example of a film that does this to much success. On the flip side, you have a documentary filmmaker like Herzog, who seems to not agree with this style of filmmaking at all. Instead, he thinks that one should dramatically impose on the reality of what's happening in order to help shape the documentary for maximum potential emotional impact. To me, these are both artistic approaches to conveying information through media, and so neither of which I feel are propaganda. Even though they're working with documentaries, which can easily be manipulated into conveying one-sided or biased information, they're approaching them in a way where they try to avoid this as much as possible. Commercials, on the other hand, well, they often do have the goal of entertainment, and they're often successful in doing this, the end goal of a commercial is to get you to buy something. It's got an agenda. It's a business. And this is more on the side of propaganda. Of course, a great deal of artistry goes behind these commercials often. David Lynch, who is clearly a very artistic director, has made commercials, for example. But at the same time, he would never turn one of his own films into a commercial. He has clearly separated the two. And I'm not saying that commercials are all propaganda, but some certainly are. Of course, this can probably be most easily seen in political ad campaigns which try to publicly badmouth opposing candidates. The goal of many marketers is to get you to think that you need their products because they are going to enhance your life. Whether or not these commercials and products really do enhance our lives, well, that remains to be seen by the quality of the products themselves. So why is it important to understand art versus propaganda? Well, from a storyteller's perspective, it's important for us to study how exactly information is being conveyed to people through the media, and the intentions behind said media. It's important to be educated about the differences between these things and understand the lines that blur between them, so that we can also learn to walk these same lines when creating our art, so that we aren't accidentally creating something that's propaganda when we mean to make something that's artistic. Okay, well, that's that. Hey, thanks for watching this week's episode of Appalling Productions Mondays. If you liked the video, please like it below or leave a comment and suggest something else for us to cover about filmmaking or experimental film. Or just say you liked the video or tell us that it sucks and you think I'm a stupid, weird asshole or whatever. Okay. See you next time.